Tonight, Niue Assembly successfully passes the third and final reading of the 4 constitutional amendment bills. New Zealand Pacifica Principal Association visits Niue, and La Kappa Show Day, a hype of activities. Good evening and welcome to our BCN News Bulletin. I'm Mersa Takala. A special whakalofa atu to our viewers from across the region, thanks to our partners at Pacifica TV. Leading our bulletin tonight, at the Niue Assembly meeting yesterday, the Constitution Review Committee presented their final report with the Niue Assembly has successfully passed the third and final reading of the bills aimed at amending the Constitution of Niue. Here's more on this story.
In his presentation at the Assembly, Constitution Review Committee Chair Honourable Billy Talangi said consultations were conducted in 13 of the 14 villages, with the village of Makefu being the exception as they had previously provided their views to the Constitution Review Committee. They also engaged with the Niue USB alumni students, with over 200 people participating in these consultations. Honourable Talangi highlighted the significance of these discussions, which is the first to be held since 1992. The consultations revealed a broad support for the proposed changes, with some varying opinions. For the first bill, change of title from Premier to Prime Minister, most villages supported this change, suggesting that an appropriate Niuean word for Prime Minister be determined. However, some villages were in favour of retaining the current title. For the second bill, to increase cabinet ministers, there was general agreement that if the number of ministers is increased, the role of members assisting ministers should be removed from legislation. Some members expressed concern about the visibility of this change given current public service shortages. For the third bill on extension of assembly term from 3 to 4 years, some supported this change to align with regional and international practices, allowing more time to complete initiatives, while others recommended a more gradual approach to allow people to adjust to the idea. From the fourth and final bill to amend from Auditor Office to Auditor General, this change was widely supported as it does not alter the existing requirement for auditing government and public funds. The third reading of the bill received its 2/3 majority in order for the bills to be passed. Honourable Talangi expressed his gratitude to the villagers, the USB Alumni Group, Vice Chair Ms. Kahealani Sinhemana Heko, Constitution Review Committee members and the committee's secretaries from the Niue Legislative Assembly Department for dedication and hard work. Premier of Niue, Honourable Dalton Tanglangi, commended the Constitution Review Committee and encouraged the community to participate in the upcoming referendum. The next step in the constitutional amendments process will be for these amendments to be presented to the public for a final vote in the form of a referendum on the 31st of August 2024. Losana Seniholo for BCN News.
An 18-member team from the New Zealand Pacifica Principal Association are on the island this week, meeting with staff and students of both Niue Primary School and Niue High School. Here's more on this story.
The New Zealand Pacifica Principal Association were accorded a traditional welcoming ceremony on Tuesday by the Niue Primary School students and were serenaded with songs and loud cheers. Cherry Leo Pepe, a facilitator of the Tautai Ole Moana, explained more about the visit.
We're here with 18 educators from New Zealand. We also have a team at the moment with principals over in Samoa, and then also another team over in Tonga. And so what we've done as an organisation, we have arranged study tours for our people that we're providing professional development with, and taken them across to these 3 islands. And the whole purpose is to try to make sure that we're staying connected with our Pacifica partners, but then also showing our principals exactly, hey, what is going on here versus what is going on back home in New Zealand. Are we making sure that we are aligned with the way that we're teaching our kids back in New Zealand and the way they're being taught here in the islands?
Last night, the association held a literacy and numeracy discussions with parents. Niwen Carvaso, who is the principal of Rowandale School in Monoriva, says the professional development workshop that will be held today with the teachers and staff for both schools will be focused on leadership, curriculum and digital transformation.
We've asked the primary school and the secondary school and the Ministry of Education for a list of topics that they would like to see workshops for and keynotes at the conference, and so these principals will provide this for the local teachers. So we're very thankful that the Ministry of Education here, department, has allowed for the schools to close and allow the children to work from home so that the teachers can get some targeted professional development.
Niue High School Assistant Principal Moira Jackson says it's not often that you get New Zealand principals visit the school, and it has been a privilege to have them here.
Not often do we have these opportunities where we have representatives of principals from New Zealand come to our school, and the opportunity just to connect with them and to learn from them, especially with best practices of what is happening positively in the schools that they lead. And it's good also to see that some of the principals that are here with us are also Niuean, and that's nice. We have some great leaders out there that can connect with us.
The New Zealand Pacifica Principal Association is aimed at proactively advancing the cause of Pacifica education in the region. It has about 130 members who are mostly of Pacific heritage. Losana Sioneholo for BCN News.
Good news to all our smokers. The supply of cigarettes arrived on the island on Monday and is currently being sold at the Bond Store and Central Services. One of the importers, Bond Store, a subsidiary of Niue Philatelic and Numismatic CEO Poi Kapanga, confirmed this. In the past few weeks, there was a shortage of cigarette supplies on the island. Bond Store has partnered with a local business to secure stock and had worked with the government to ensure they meet the health regulations required under the 2018 Tobacco Control Act. And just an update from our village inspection program, the team has completed another village, Vaea. According to the Niue Health Division Facebook post page, the team thanks the support and enthusiasm showed by the community. The program has truly contributed to the strength of community work. The next village up for inspection will be Tamakotonga. Staying with health, the Niue Health Department was fortunate to host hearing tests for our local children in the past few weeks. According to their Facebook post, a crucial part of the B4 School Check program, which is an initiative designed to detect any type of hearing loss in children aged 4 to ensure early intervention and support. Joanna Wallace, an auditory processing specialist from the University of Auckland, assisted with the screenings alongside the public health, maternal and child health nurse, Tessel Hetutu. Joanna was here on holiday with her family and generously volunteered her expertise. The post added that her commitment to our community is evident, as this isn't her first visit. She previously collaborated with Dr. Zahor in 2016 on similar screenings. Auckland-based entrepreneur Nora Swan is on the island to conduct a workshop in collaboration with Niue Chamber of Commerce, held at Matavai Resort this afternoon. Nora Swan has 13 years of experience under her belt in fashion and social services and has links to Niue, visiting The Rock for the first time with her 2 daughters, and will conduct a workshop focused on small businesses, well-being and fashion.
We're running a workshop, a Trust and Confidence workshop at Matavai Resort in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce on Thursday.
Swan spoke about the objective of the workshop.
So on Thursday, so the topics we'll be covering is small business, health and well-being and professional styling. And so I know that there are a lot of people that come here and will be running different business workshops, but I guess for me, my point of difference is the fact that I'm a creative. So I'll be talking on business from that perspective, sharing a little bit about my journey and how I've grown my business from scratch in New Zealand, mental health, so health and well-being.
The Auckland-based entrepreneur says her visit has been an emotional one as she comes back to her roots and has been enjoying her visit so far.
It's been quite an emotional 4 days. We've been actually 5 days here in Niue. I found out my great-granddad's first name, which I never knew. I've gone to like Alofi Church and Avasili Church to reconnect, meeting family members and finding out that we've got quite a few family here. So it's nice to come here and feel accepted and feel welcome.
Hivi Tongia Puheke from Avasele recently returned from the Touch World Cup 2024 held in Nottingham, England, from the 15th to the 21st of July, where he was the only referee from the Pacific Islands. Puheke spoke with BCN News last week about his role at the Games, where he refereed 13 games between more than 30 countries competing at the Games. He said that he was happy to be recognized for his skills as an international referee when he received an invitation from International Touch Federation. He has been a referee at the Pacific Games and other regional touch tournaments over the years, but this is the first time he was invited to a major international tournament. Puheke said that after the Touch World Cup, which is held every 4 years, he has been invited to consider refereeing for the Euro Cup next year and the US Touch competition in America. Somewhere closer to home, there is also the opportunity to referee the Cook Islands and the Fiji Touch tournaments later this year. He says he has always wanted more young people to take up the sport of touch and go on to become referees. Touch is not as popular or well-funded as rugby or soccer, but the opportunities are there for young Niueans to travel as referees. Puheke is grateful to his family for funding his travel costs to the Touch World Cup in England. And just on our brief roadwork update from China Railway First Group, installations of streetlights is almost finished and work is currently underway for the road markings in various areas around Alofi. A kind reminder to all road users to slow down and be aware of heavy machineries operating in these areas. Meanwhile, Telecom Niue CEO Anurag Tandon has confirmed they are working on continuing the rollout of the second island fiber. Tandon says this project is to roll out a large capacity optical fiber ring to connect all the Telecom Niue sites and Government of Niue departments. The estimated timeline for completion of the project is about 24 months. He adds amongst the longer-term use of this high-capacity optical fiber cable will bring fiber to premise and connect all homes and businesses to fiber. And it was a hype of activities as people showed up in numbers to take advantage of the many varieties of food available during the Lakapa Village Show Day held last Saturday. Member of Parliament Rhonda Tiakia Tomailunga says the show day is a testament of our community spirit and the pride we take in our culture.
This show day is a testament to our community spirit and the pride we take in our culture. It is a celebration of our traditions, our achievements, and the hard work that each of you contribute to making Lakapa a wonderful place to live. A special mention to all the Lakapa people who have returned from the diaspora in the last 10 years and have built their homes here.
Present at the event was Niue Premier Honourable Dalton Tangilangi, Australia's High Commissioner to Niue, Katie Stewart, and New Zealand's High Commissioner to Niue, Mark Gibb.
The other side of that, of course, is the amount of support that we do provide to Niue, both through various agencies coming up here to work with the police, to work with the Disaster Management Office, to work with other parts of the system. And again, that's just the strength of that relationship that's built up through personal connections, it's built up through government connections. And then, obviously we provide support through budgetary support, and this year, we're increasing our support from 12 million to 15 million. So again, just a real underlining of that connection, the importance. And we're really hoping to work closely with Niue on the delivery and support for the events for the 50th anniversary commemorations.
There were varieties of stalls selling food, handicraft, root crops on display as well at the event. The next scheduled show day will be the village of Tamakotonga next week Saturday on August 17th. And on our feature segment tonight, BCN News had an opportunity to speak with Hakupu-born social and youth worker Sally Paea. Sally had a table at last week's Lakapa Show Day showcasing some unique wood carvings, handicraft, and so we just had to ask him for an interview on how he made these unique pieces. Sally left the Rock bound for New Zealand when he was 18 years old in 1968 and had no intentions of coming back until he returned 12 years ago for a family event. Sally, who lives in Otara, New Zealand, mentors kids at the Flatbush Primary School, teaching them the creative aspects of carving, culture, and much more. He also serves as a mentor for at-risk kids by using creative spaces to engage them.
I live in New Zealand. Yes, New Zealand is my home at the moment, and I live and work in the community that I live in. I work with children and youth, and that has been my mission for the last 45 years.
What started off as a hobby 5 years ago, using readily available materials outside his home like wood, coconuts and unga shells, has now produced some unique pieces of carvings. Sali is self-taught and enjoys this newfound hobby of his.
I came back and I guess trying to find myself. It was a journey that has been a very exciting, wonderful journey, and part of that is discovering my ability to do things, and particularly working with what you see behind here. I was never taught. I pretty much got into it as a hobby, and then from there I developed it and discovered that I'm good at this, so I took it further, and now it's gone forward and step by step, and it's gone up and up, and so yeah, it started 5 years ago.
His unique pieces include earrings, necklaces, bracelets, elegant miniature canoes, and pedals, amongst others. He held a few carving sessions with some of the children of Hakupu during the school break.
Part of what I do is to have conversation and talk about our culture and our history, and do you know who you are? Do you know where your ancestors come from? Do you know how they get here? A lot of the cultural aspect of it, the Pacific journeys, how does the people of Puka Puka build the canoe and travel all the way from where they ended up here in Niue and started a family here.
Sali says one of the challenges is creating interest among children when it comes to creating things and the stories and the cultural aspect behind it. His advice to any young person wanting to pursue a field in this area of carving?
My encouragement to anybody, I show them and I say, you can do this. And so that's what I encourage them to, is let's go, let's do it. I can help, I will. And I guess my role would be the guide to help them through the process, because when you look at this kind of stuff, they think of, oh, it's hard work, it's machineries, I don't have the equipment, I don't have this and I don't have that, and say, no, it's not really that. If you really have the desire to do something like this, you can do it. And so, yeah, my encouragement to anybody is that I would love to help anybody who wants to be able to get into something like this. Yeah, for me, it's not about a commercial venture. To me, it's a cultural, it's a spiritual. It's it does something to me. And yeah, great, you make money, but that's not what drives me. It's the joy of being able to sit and relax and create something, you know, and wear something that is very dear to you. It does something to the soul.
The 73-year-old hopes that in the upcoming years he will build an actual canoe inspired by Niue. And that's our news bulletin for tonight. You can join us for our Vangahau bulletin next Tuesday. Until then, good evening.